Now, slightly different video for me because, yeah, this is more of a request that I often see on videos and in live streams and stuff, and that is to have a run through my garage. So I said I'd give a show through the cars that I've got golded and some bit of housekeeping as well to maybe hit a milestone on the golden cars. So obviously, like a lot of these D-class cars, you can gold without epics. I would say most of the time I don't actually tend to gold cars unless they're needed for events. It's usually I'll have epic import parts, and if I'm not using a car, I'll tend not to just spam it out with the things, because obviously you need to be able to do an upgrade a car and apply an import car as the daily quest for 5 tokens. So you can't really like power into all the cars with tuning, because you will end up just costing yourself some tokens. But I said I'd run through them. Like the D's, I'm gonna power through here. Lancer Evolution, the king of Asphalt, obviously. BMW Z4, Nissan Leaf, Camaro LT, Nismo, like these are all gold. Volkswagen XL, DSC 10s, always handy for touch drive missions. The Hemiscat, crazily fast car for the D class. 718 Cayman. These are the ones that need at least one epic installed in. So Lotus Elise Brent, probably one of my favorite cars in all of Asphalt. Genuinely just love that car. Shelby GT, brilliant car again. 911 Targa 4S. Ginetta G60, a really good car. I just tend not to use it in lieu of the Lotus Elise. Honda Civic, amazing car. Delighted to get the last epic portion for that recently. DVR Griffith, if you want top 1% in the weekly competition, that's your car. And Mazda Furai, it was really good on the New York track. The Taken Turbo, that was the Porsche season car that came with the Legend Pass. And yeah, I didn't bring it up to the 4-star because why would you? There's a car hunt for all those Legend Pass cars later on, only for people who had the Legend Passes at the time. So yeah, if you're missing that car, I don't think you'll be able to take part in that one. I could be slightly wrong with that, but yeah, I know that those cars get car hunts later on. Corvette C7, I didn't get the key for it, so whoops. That's a car I miss out on. But that does mean that then in the D-class category, I've got 16 different cars golded, and yeah, it's pretty much just most of them require one epic import part, or else they're just ones that can be upgraded for credits. Pretty much everything from, I think, is it the DS down, don't even require an epic. Those are just a case of just throw some credits at it, and the standard import parts you can get. But 16 in the Class D is pretty cool. Moving into the Class C, and yep, these first 3 I have never bothered with because the cars are rarely used for stuff outside of like very beginner events, and honestly they're not exactly amazing cars. I do think the Camaro ZL1 looks amazing, but it isn't great, and even with epics it ain't great. Still though, I don't have those golded. Lotus Evora, BMW M4, Mercedes-Benz AMG, absolutely beastly C-Class car. Used to be the king of the weekly competition until C-Class cars were banned from that. Golden Beast X, or Ariel Atom chassis, if you know the origins of that car. It's pretty cool. Dodge Viper ACR, this is the Lotus Elise of the C-Class, but yeah, another one that's been golded for well over a year now. Fantastic car. The H2 Speed, really interesting electric car, really fun to drift around corners. It's one of the ones that like can actually gain speed quite a lot on drifting in places like Cairo on that long turn. Great car to drive. Pure NSX, the first DLC that I bought for this game, because I missed that very first event where this was available. Didn't really take part in it, missed the car, ended up buying it afterwards for $9.99. Pretty much one of the main times I've bought a car. Pretty much the only time I've actually directly bought a car. But yeah, that was like, I played for quite a bit and I was like, I missed that car, I'll buy that one. The Super Elettra, it's a pretty cool car. It's another one of those ones that if you're touch driving an event and need a C-Class car, the Acura and that are fantastic because they both touch drive really well. Maserati, Vencer, very difficult to drive. Vencer in particular, that is a nightmare to actually get a lot out of. But that said, it's great if you can drive it. It really is just like tremendously fast. And if it wasn't for the Golden Air Husaria, yeah, it would be the kind of king of top speed in the C-Class for my garage. I didn't get enough epics to gold out the Porsche. I think I was just missing 1 or 2 from that yeah, 2 handling epic. So that's very, very close to. And then when it comes to the Corvette Stingray and the Gallardo, I didn't bother investing in those again. Again, 2 Legend Pass cars. I'm not going to spend tokens on cars that are effectively not really useful for too much. They're just kind of things. They're nice to have, but yeah, I wasn't going to spend tokens, like I said, on those. No, it's not one peeled down. So yeah, there's 11 classes there from the Evora all the way up to the Hussar, with a few gaps in between, but quite a lot of golden C-class cars definitely throughout there. Now then, B-class city, and yeah, start off with a golden 911 GTS Coupe. Cool little car, but like it's like a Porsche. They're all very, very similar. Missing a couple here at the start, including even missing a star off the 911 GT1 Evolution. Ford GT, then at gold, that's the original Ford GT. Cool, powerful, like high-speed car, no real handling ability even when it was buffed. Same can be said with the Cadillac CN Concept. Ital Design 01, that's a cool enough car. It's like not exactly outstanding. It's kind of just that point in really is the mid-range of the B-class cars. Doesn't do anything great, doesn't have any major weaknesses. There's some more golds. The Ferrari 488 GTB, gold SEG 003S, always rolls right off the tongue. Ferrari's F12, and Grand Sport Vantage GT12. I golded that recently, just knowing the fact that it'll be used in the upcoming British season, and also it's a really nice golden car to have, because like the Vantage is very, very powerful car, quite capable machine, all-rounder. Again, it's like doesn't really excel in any one particular place, but also doesn't really fall down too much in any place, and it's just fun to drive generally. Now moving on to these two, and yeah, great for the Class B competition. So the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, fantastic, and yeah, 4K rated in a B-class car. Really nice drive. It's not great at the lower stars, but yeah, once it starts to get higher into the 4th and the 5th, and then when it's golded, yeah, it really is a dream car to drive. Same Hurricane Evo Spider, just absolutely beautiful. Like that can win races all the way up to the legend status really in multiplayer, because yeah, its agility and acceleration are off the charts for the car. And yeah, 4,100 rating for a B-class car. It really is a glorious drive. Yeah, that it comes to 11 then B golden cars. So yeah, nice range of stuff, all the way from the fairly meh 911 GTS up to the golden Evo Spider. And absolutely, like, yeah, that is one of probably the best cars in the game to drive, just in my opinion. Same with the Mercedes-Benz SLR. Like, I would take those two over quite a lot of the low-end and mid-tier A-class cars, definitely, because yeah, they're just great. And to be fair, their rating represents that as well, of 4K. So looking at the A-class then, and yeah, start off here with the first one being the Ferrari J50. Really nimble Ferrari. Be handy in 2 seasons time with the Ferrari season coming in. Then the McLaren P1, one that people got 41,000 blueprints for in a mistake a while back. That was quite funny. But yeah, I have that one golded. Really nimble little car. It's kind of like the 570S. But yeah, it's just obviously a slightly lower tiered version of it. Quite cool to drive. Then the daily chain, again, I pretty much have all these cars golded from that, because I think like every player should be grinding through those, because like that chain of cars are really useful for any garage, just not just for events but also for multiplayer. They're brilliant. So yeah, VLF's Force 1 V10 full carbon fiber body. You can see that in multiplayer. The thing loves to just explode. But it is devastatingly fast for a mid kind of high tier A class. And golded 918 Spider and golded a McLaren 570S Spider with the different spelling. And a golden McLaren 570S Spider with a different spelling. And then, yeah, I think the last one of my A class is the Pagani BC. Absolutely dream car to have as an A class. The one I pretty much always use in the weekly competition when it comes to Elite A. Now that's the A classes then, and yeah, quite a lot less of those ones golded out. some even missing stars, 1896, the SC18, and the Club Sport, all 3 Grand Prix cars there towards the top. Like, yeah, I usually just spend enough tokens to win the key in those. The Centenario, unfortunately, the first S-Class that I've got golded. The second one is just Lamborghini Egoista. It's one that I've had the epics sitting in that for quite a while, just didn't have them applied. And then the third and final S-Class that I have complete is the Bugatti Chiron. Like, 4,755 rating. Absolutely dream to drive, but yeah, it's incredibly costly. For anyone who hasn't gotten the last star up on that, the final 6th star for it has 4 upgrades, and each upgrade costs 2.25 million, I'm pretty sure it does. So yeah, incredibly costly. Now, and yeah, like, that is visible on a few of the other S-Class cars as well that I have, like Terzo. I have no use for it immediately. The upgrades for those, as you can see there, 2.2 million credits for those final upgrades. Like, it is just a crazy cost. Now, and that is the final then of the gold cars that I have. So 3 S-Class just, which brings us to 47 S-Class in total. So cool, but you know, it's 47. That's kind of like an awkward number, isn't it, to stop on? So what I said I'd do is, yeah, I do have 1 or 2 more bits and pieces of housekeeping that I can go into. I mentioned this on a rewards video that I did a few days ago. I did actually have the epics sitting pretty in my garage, waiting for that Ford Shelby. Just click, and there we go. So yeah, that does add their car number 48 onto the list. Can take a stop off at the B class as well here, the Apollo N. And yeah, it was just a handling epic to be slotted into this guy. So 300,000 credits. I've got quite a few coming into the start of the season, and that's that guy maxed out for gold car number 49. Really pretty. Another 4,000 rated car, like crazy high speed for a B class car. Great for slipstream, because yeah, like, while it's not exactly ideal in some of the other stats, top speed of that thing is devastatingly fast, even faster than quite a lot of the A class cars. There it is. That's the Apollo N added to the crew. And time to sort out some A class then. So you've got your Dodge Viper here, and wouldn't be too bad to have another couple of golden A's. Sadly, 2 epics for that. So there's 1 going to trade coins when the new legend pass comes in. But boom, Dodge Viper in the gold. And up here then you've got Lamborghini's Aventador SV Coupe, which needs, I think I've got enough for this. Yeah, so there's 1 into the handling and 1 pumped into that top speed. So bringing that up to its max rank, 3,763. And that's another gold A class then. So giving us the Dodge Viper GTS and the Aventador SV Coupe, bringing it up to 50 and 51 golden cars. And that's balancing out there with, like, yeah, golding a C class Shelby, a B class Apollo N, and the A class Dodge Viper GTS and Aventador SV Coupe. Did notice as well, 1 other kind of nice thing up here, Aventador J Lamborghini. I have 1 epic for this guy, but it does need 2. 360k, and yeah, I just seen in the shop right now. Yep, there we go. 1 more for good measure. 10k trade coins for that, and boom, Aventador J also brought up to that nice gold status. So that's an additional gold card in added in. So that means that there's 9 gold A class, and then you've got 12 now in the B and the C class. So still, sadly, just the 3 in the S class with the Centenario, Egoista, and Bugatti Chiron. But still, yeah, it'd be nice if we could even drive S-Class cars right now. But I wanted to give kind of a pan across the garage and fix up a few bits and pieces, because obviously it's cool to have the potential of having a gold car, but with some things being incredibly costly, like the fact that, yeah, that one was 10 million credits for the 4 upgrades into the Chiron, for example, but Egoista wasn't too bad because that was just epic import parts that needed to go tuned into that because I had it tuned up quite a lot from its special event. And yeah, the A class is looking a lot healthier now with far less spots in between there. Still one or two obviously even missing, the Vanda Electrics and just the 3-star version of the ZR1 Chevy. But yeah, the A class looking healthy enough except for the very start here. B class is really nice. Again, like not just gold cars, but yeah, I've got that 4K Carrera, the 4K Hurricane, 4K SLR, 4K Apollo N. Like there is some really, really powerhouse cars in the top end of that B. And yeah, as I go back down through it, it's like fairly healthily spotted out with golds the entire way through. See, the majority of them are golded with the exception of those Legend Pass cars and just a very start kind of underutilized, fairly poor C class to be honest. And the majority of these then are all done with the exception of that Taken Turbo and the Grand Prix C7, which yeah, like I said, wasn't even unlocked by me because you kind of messed up a small bit in that Grand Prix. Happens to everyone. I always say it, try and stress out on the cars that like you do have and like yeah, tune them up and kind of worry about learning to drive all of those rather than looking at the cars that you miss out on events. Because yeah, if you do try and spend to get all of the cars in this game, you'll definitely end up like fairly in trouble when it comes to cash, because there are some things that you do just have to kind of go, okay, there's a choice I have to make. Do I spend the tokens on this or this? But yeah, like when it comes to stuff like that DBS Super Ligera that's in game at the moment, or just any of the season pass stuff, so Super Ligera has avenues to go down to buy it and start up and stuff like that. I'm holding off on those definitely for now at least. The same goes with like in the Legend Pass that's coming up for the British season. There's a bunch of cars in there, but also one of the ones that myself and Ziggy talked about being a fairly mediocre car is the McLaren Speedtail. Pretty car, but realistically it's one that you won't be able to unlock fully with the special event for it. You'll need to get so far and then buy the actual blueprints for that. So it's one that like effectively without spending, all players will kind of run into a wall at a point, even if it's just of tokens. That's one that I have no real interest in unless that's modified on the Switch than it was on global. But I didn't want to get into a specific video on this because yup, this one is pretty much just a unlinked to events video. This is just check out some of these cars, and yeah, hopefully you guys are getting together a nice collection of goldie cars as well. Like as I always say with these, just enjoy the cars you have yourself. Don't worry too much about the other ones that you see in multiplayer. A 360 kind of is an equalizer for everyone if anyone's being cheeky with a shiny car. But yeah guys, there's sub button up there, other videos from me here, and as always in these, drive safe in whichever car you're taking onto the track.